And hello, one and all, and welcome to my review for this week's episode of Lucha Underground. We're going to take a look at what took place on the March 30th edition of Lucha Underground. This will have been from Season 2, Episode 10. I'm going to give you my full thoughts and opinions on what took place on last night's show. And overall, another good edition of Lucha Underground. This show continues to impress on a week in, week out basis. We had some good matches, good storyline progression, and just Lucha Underground continues to show why, in my opinion, it is the best professional wrestling product out there on a week-to-week basis. So this was an enjoyable show from start to finish, definitely. So without further ado, let's take a look at what took place on this show. So we kick things off. Dario Cueto is in the ring, and he pretty much, he has regained control of the temple from Catarina. And Cueto pretty much says that he will be starting a brand new trios tournament, and he was about to talk about who the number one contender would be to his brother Matanza, who last week won Aztec Warfare and walked out the new Lucha Underground heavyweight champion. Completely dominated and decimated the field of competitors in there. That was an amazing match, Aztec Warfare. Eventually, Pentagon Jr. comes out and gets right in Dario Cueto's face. He pretty much says, he wants a match pretty much against his brother Matanza, and he's not going to leave the ring until he gets the match. Eventually, Pentagon grabs Cueto by the throat and threatens to break his arm. And Cueto grants Pentagon Jr. his wish, and then Pentagon Jr. says he has zero fearo. So Pentagon Jr. pretty much making a badass statement, getting in the face of the owner of the temple and saying that he wants to fight his brother. He wants a shot at that Lucha Underground Championship. But as we'll see later on, was it truly the right decision for Pentagon Jr. to make? I really did enjoy this opening promo, between Cueto and Pentagon Jr. Really good way to get this show off and running. Then we had a tag team match. It was Taya and Johnny Mundo team up to take on Cisco and Castro. Not a bad tag team match that we had here. Some nice action back and forth. The interesting thing I found was towards the end of the match, when Cage would make his return, he would walk down the steps, and you knew he was going to be coming after Johnny Mundo for what happened in Aztec Warfare when Mundo took Cage and pretty much threw his head through a freaking glass window. So towards the end, Mundo looks like he's trying to get the hell out of there. He doesn't want anything to do with Cage. Eventually, the crew are able to pick up the win with the Psychic Realm to pick up the victory. So thanks to what happened with Cage and Mundo on the outside. Then we had a really creepy promo from Marty the Moth, pretty much talking about, the history of his family and, how they reigned over the Aztec Empire, and pretty much talking about his sister, and that how, with the power of his sister, she will help him and her be able to allow the Moth tribe to rule and just dominate again. So really like Marty the Moth, really creepy vibe that you get from him. You don't really know what's going on inside his head, so definitely hyping up, the power and dominance that him and his sister will be able to implement over the Lucha Underground temple. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes in the weeks to come. Then we have an interesting segment. Katarina goes into Dario Cueto's office, pretty much Cueto says, thank you for keeping my temple going, but now I'm the one who's back in charge of things around here, so, my brother's champion, sorry for what happened, pretty much, but that's how the way things are going to be. And Cueto says, I don't have beef with you, Katarina, and actually I feel if we would work together, we could be unstoppable. And he pretty much says that the Disciples of Death tonight will have a match for the Trios champion, and that, once again, they should work together in order to deal with their common enemies, trying to create a partnership between Cueto and Katarina. but Katarina pretty much dismisses him, says that it'll only be a matter of time before Matanza will face death, and the temple will once again be in her control. So, strong words from Katarina to Dario Cueto. Then we have what was a really good match for the Lucha Underground Trios Championship. It was Ivelisse, Son of Havoc, and Angelico taking on the Disciples of Death with Katarina in their corner. Just a really, really good match. It was an elimination match, so Ivelisse was the first to be eliminated. And then eventually Angelico was able to get in there and, hold his own. I think he was able to... He hit this really nice-looking clothesline to all the members of the Disciple of Death. He was able to eliminate a member of the Disciples of Death. Then, I believe Angelico was the one to be eliminated next. Then Son of Havoc was in there and was all on his own. Eventually, he was able to get an elimination onto the Disciples of Death. Havoc hit some nice... I think he hit two through the top rope dives. They were really cool looking. Then, towards the end of the match, as it came down to him and the last member of the Disciples of Death, Ivelisse would come out. She would confront Katarina and hit her with a side kick right to the head. That was really good looking. Havoc was able to hit the shooting star press to pick up the victory and retain the Trios Championship for all three members. So really fun, really good match, a lot of good back and forth. The eliminations, it was definitely, came down to the wire somehow, some way. Son of Havoc was able to help retain the Trios Championship. So good match overall. Then we had an interesting segment. It was Dario Cueto talking to Rey Mysterio. And he says it was nice pretty much to see Rey compete in Aztec Warfare. And, Cueto says... Well, Mysterio says that he's here to find his and Aztec Jr.'s master, who supposedly had never left the temple. Cueto pretty much dismisses him, says, I don't know who that is. And Mysterio says, well, the master's dead due to your brother Matanza, so trying to point the blame at Cueto's brother. Cueto says, that's in the past. If that is true, we're going to just focus on the future and on making the temple the best place in the world for fighters to come to. And, Cueto pretty much trying to talk up Mysterio and dismiss his claims. He says Mysterio is one of the greatest in the world, and if you can leave the past in the past, we can, look ahead to the future, and him and Mysterio toast a drink to that. So, not too bad of a segment there. Then we had our third match, which was Sexy Star taking on Maria Posa. Not too much to say about this match. It was pretty much Sexy Star lost to Maria Posa after she hit the butterfly effect to pick up the victory, and afterwards Marty the Moth was at ringside. He would pretty much lay a beat down on the Mac, and Maria Posa would hit a big boot on Mac, so keeping Marty and his sister, looking strong and dominant, as he said earlier on in the night with his promo. So Sexy Star didn't really get too much offense in here. It was really a quick and decisive victory. Speaking of quick and decisive victory, the final match, our main event, was Matanza defending his Lucha Underground Championship against Pentagon Jr. As you all know, Pentagon Jr. is quickly becoming one of my favorites to watch in Lucha Underground. The crowd is on his side. I love, when he says zero furo, he does not give a shit. He will do whatever it takes to claim that Lucha Underground heavyweight title. And I knew going into this match, you saw the way that Matanza was dominant in Aztec Warfare. You knew this was going to be one hell of a fight for Pentagon to overcome. And I was worried for him, and sure enough, Matanza pretty much, didn't... I don't even think he got Matanza to his knees. I mean, Pentagon tried, and he tried. He hit him with a lung blower, but Matanza immediately got right back up to his feet. So, and then Matanza would target the back of Pentagon Jr., send him into the steel beams, try to rip Pentagon's mask off, eventually rolled him back into the ring, hit some German suplexes on him, and he hit the Wrath of the Gods, his finisher, to pick up the victory. So it really was less than 5 minutes. He pretty much manhandled Pentagon Jr., And then after the match, you look at Vampiro. He has this look of concern for Pentagon. He gets in the ring. He's like, "We need some help. We need some EMTs." And just as he's about to do that, Matanza hits Vampiro with a big boot, and then Matanza throws Pentagon on the outside, and he power bombs him through the table. Sick way to end what was overall a really good edition of Lucha Underground from start to finish. So definitely a shocking ending. The powerbomb through the table, pretty much decimation of Pentagon Jr., so it'll be interesting to see where things go in the weeks to come. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode from start to finish, and I'm going to give it an A. This was another great show from Lucha Underground. So if you have the Rey Network, watch it on Fubo TV. That's another way. Any way you can, Lucha Underground is definitely an awesome show to watch. So those are my thoughts and opinions on this week's episode of Lucha Underground. Let me know down in the comments section below what you all thought of this week's episode of Lucha Underground. Thank you all for watching this video. Once again, please click that like and subscribe button for more video content coming to this channel. Be on the lookout tonight for my thoughts and opinions on the Stone Cold podcast with special guest Mick Foley. Until then, guys, take care, stay safe. I will see you guys on the other side. Peace.